Hey, what's up, nerds? Long time no see. And even longer for you guys because you won't be able to see my face in this video. I wanted to go over my hockey card collection because I just moved to Nevada to cover the Golden Knights for Vegas Hockey Now. Go check that out. But part of my moving didn't require, but I wanted to reorganize my hockey cards. So I kind of did that recently, and I'm pretty damn proud of it. I have a lot of cards, so it took a while for this, and I didn't want it to all go to waste. I mean, it doesn't go to waste. I just enjoy it, but I kind of want to show them off. So I'm pretty much just going to flip through my hockey card collection, show you guys what I have, point out some interesting cards, and we'll start with the Penguins. This is my Penguins binder. I have all of my teams arranged into franchises. So, like, for instance, I have like the Nordiques with the Avalanche and things like that. But I won't be doing much talking in this video. I'm kind of just going to flip through things. I'll try and keep it short, but I do have over 5,000 cards, so we'll get into it. As I mentioned before, this is my Penguins binder. So I have just Penguins in this one. Special cards here, my Patrick Hornquist card that he signed himself. The first ever card that I ever got, ever. My Sidney Crosby card. I'll always remember that moment. It was the first ever pack of cards I collected as a young 8-year-old, and I was like, I hope I get Sidney Crosby, and sure enough, that was the first card that was on there. And then every binder I had, the teams lined up, but for this binder, it's just the Penguins and some miscellaneous cards. Like I have some old Erie Otters cards, but yeah. And then real quick before we get into like the main gist of things, I have a special format into every team. I put like kind of just a blank slate, team name, how many Stanley Cups they have, the Stanley Cup years, who in my opinion is their greatest player of all time. And I always put the greatest player of all time, unless it's a goalie, right here. I put the best goalie of all time here, the best defenseman of all time here, and then I kind of just go from there. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this because we got a lot of cards to go through. I have a lot of excess Penguins cards, which we'll flip through quick towards the back. And then these aren't technically all of my cards because I have cards hidden behind here and things like that. But if I were to show you guys all those cards, it would be forever. But yeah, I kind of like doing this just because it shows, like, I don't know, kind of the good players of the franchises. With the Penguins, you have all these big names and even more and even more. So yeah, let's get into things here. Got to have Phil Kessel. And I'm going to go through these kind of fast because it's a video. You guys can pause it whenever you want. And I'll make comments here and there on specific cards that I find interesting. But for right now, we're just going to flip through the Penguins pages. I don't really have anything particular to say about some of these. Now, I do try and incorporate notable players even if they don't have the Penguins jersey or the specific team jersey on in the card photo. For instance, I gotta have Matt Cullen, Bill Guerin, Jeff Carter, and I had this row right here is they were Penguins, or these 6 right here: Marlowe, Hossa, Zubov, Robitaille, Kovalev, Iginla, guys like that. Armstrong as well. I try to keep them mostly matching though, unless it's a very notable player. Like I even put a Ron Hainsey card in here because never made the playoffs until he came to Pittsburgh and he won a Stanley Cup. So that does it for my... Oh, and this player right here. I usually have the prospects that didn't pan out towards the end because, you know, there's not much to say about them. This prospect never turned out. Owen Krebs. I didn't know where else to put that card. And then, yeah, I still have a lot in this binder because I have a lot of excess Penguins cards. I have this set of Crosby's rookie year that I found, which is pretty cool. And then just a bunch of excess Penguins cards that I couldn't jam into one single card slot of a specific player because Marc-Andre Fleury, I have so many freaking cards of him. And actually, interestingly, the player that I have the most cards of, Sidney Crosby's up there, Wayne Gretzky's up there, Mario Lemieux's up there, Ed Belfour's up there for some reason. The player that I have the most cards of for some reason is Tyler Kennedy. I have like 40 almost cards of him. James Neal I have a lot of cards of too. Matt Cook, Pascal Dupuis. Anyways, this little section here is Erie Otters cards. I do have like specific cards from this year of the Erie Otters in the NHL because some of those players did make the NHL. Obviously, McDavid, Andre Burakovsky, the Radishes, and then I have just assorted random WHL, OHL cards. They just never made the NHL, so I didn't really know where to put them. Also, the Central Red Army. And then I here assorted baseball and football cards that I found. All of those, I just give those to my dad or my cousin if I have them. These are little coins that I have that are kind of cool. Should I take them out? Nah. And then even more excess Penguins cards. So yeah, now we're getting into the actual meat and potatoes of it. I always try and put a cool photo of, the specific teams that are in here. This photo being Guy Lafleur, but in the background is Mario Lemieux. So these are my original 6 teams. Canadians first, because I have these organized from here on out after the original 6 teams in order of Stanley Cups won. Jeff Petrie, current Penguin now. Shea Weber, current Golden Knight. Alex Galchenyuk, former Penguin. Nathan Beaulieu, former Penguin, unless he re-signs somehow. Excess Canadians cards. And then onto the Maple Leafs. Again, my setup is greatest player of all time, greatest goalie of all time, greatest defenseman of all time, and then onwards. There's Phil. You know we're in the Maple Leafs because all these photos are black and white. It's when all their good players played. Travis Dermott, there's an example of an Otters card making it into like the actual teams here. Then excess Leafs. Detroit Red Wings. I also put in like their former names. If you saw what the Maple Leafs. The Red Wings did used to be called the Falcons and the Cougars. And Gordie Howe is their greatest player of all time, in my opinion. Glenn Hall, their greatest goalie. Nick Lidstrom, their greatest defenseman. I don't think there's much debate there. You could make an argument for Osgood. Excess Red Wings, including a Peter Mrazek jersey card. And on to the Boston Bruins. Their greatest player, Bobby Orr. Kind of, I don't know. I think Bobby Orr's overrated. I might switch him with Esposito, but that's in pen. Tim Thomas, their greatest goaltender that I have a card of. That's an important clarification because like I don't have cards of some of the older guys that played in like the 40s and 50s. And then Ray Bourque. A lot of my cards come from the 90s and 2010s. Some of these rookie cards are cool because, like, Michael Hutchinson, oh, he's still in the league. He actually plays for the Golden Knights now, or the Henderson Silver Knights. I have his rookie card when he was back with the Bruins way back when. This card's a triple rookie card with Kevin Shattenkirk, Tyler Seguin, and Magnus Paajarvi. On to the Blackhawks. Stan Mikita is their greatest player of all time. I even put Chicago Blackhawks, which was their former name. I like how that row turned out, too, with all the legendary players kind of thing. Jonathan Toews. Is he leaving Chicago? I'm filming this on the day where he came out and said he is not very happy with the rebuild. Excess Blackhawks. I have a lot of excess Blackhawks because, again, I collected their cards or most of my cards in the 2010s. And, the Blackhawks were winning in the 2010s a lot, so more cards of them. New York Rangers, Mark Messier, Henrik Lundqvist, Brian Leetch. A lot of good goalies in New York. They don't have a lot of players of their own that they can say, like, oh, he was a Rangers draft pick and he, made his way through the system type stuff. They do have a lot of good goaltenders. Van Beesbrook, Richter, Lundqvist, even though Lundqvist is overrated. Jaromir Jagr. For Jagr, I have him included in every single team that he played for, even the Flames, because I feel like he's just such an enigma that you just have to include him, no matter what. Brian Boyle. Sandis Ozolinch. XS Rangers. From here on out, it is organized by Stanley Cups. Because technically the Oilers have more Stanley Cups than the Rangers. But I wanted to keep the original 6 teams together. And no, I will not compromise and be happy when the Rangers win another Stanley Cup. That'll never happen. XS Oilers, and then on to the New York Islanders, who I don't have a lot of their star players, like their legendary players, like Clark Gillies, Bob Nystrom. Even my John Tonelli card isn't with the Islanders, and that's mostly because the Islanders' good teams were in the 80s, and a lot of my cards come from, again, the 90s and 2010s. Adam Pelech, Otter. So I need to get a couple 80s packs, which are harder to find. They obviously printed more cards as time went on. A couple cool rookie cards here. I got Matt Martins and Kyle Okpozos. And then on to the Quebec Nordiques Colorado Avalanche franchise, which I did have to move up. I know I reorganized the entire thing, but I did move up because now they have 3 Stanley Cups, so they passed a couple teams. And I do have Cale Makar as their best defenseman of all time. I think that isn't that hot of a take right now, and into the future, it's just going to be even more so. He's such a good player. And when a team wins a Stanley Cup, I like to put, those players will obviously be recognized and idolized from years to come. Even if Kadri doesn't re-sign, which, recording this video, he hasn't signed anywhere yet. Natushkin, Kemper, Johnson, Burakovsky, they'll all be, remembered for that 2022 team where they won a Stanley Cup. I do have a little personal bias is when a team has the same amount of Stanley Cups. I kind of rank them in order of who I think is more successful. And I have Tampa behind the Avalanche because, I don't know. Those 2 COVID Cups are definitely impressive, but I don't know. We'll get, that's a different debate. But a lot of recent players in here: Hedman, Stamkos, Kucherov, Point. Pretty impressive for a team that came in the league in the 90s, though. Darren Radish. And on to the New Jersey Devils, Colorado Rockies, and Kansas City Scout franchise. But it's mostly the Devils, who could have got Mario Lemieux, but didn't. They have John Marino now. I'm not crying. On to the Kings, who just announced today that they would be retiring Dustin Brown's jersey, which I think is fitting, but they also announced that, there's Big Jeff. They also announced that they're building a statue for Dustin Brown. I'm not saying that he's not deserving of it, but if you're going to build a statue for Dustin Brown, are you going to build a statue for Ante Kopitar, Jonathan Quick, Drew Doughty, all the other, Jeff Carter? I don't know how I feel about the Dustin Brown statue. Jersey retirement makes sense. On to this team. I don't know what this team's called. Just a bunch of goons and Yager. Sergei Bobatinsky. That's how you say it, right? Stanley Cup champion with the Pittsburgh Penguins, Mark Streit. Keyword is with the Pittsburgh Penguins here. Excess Flyers. I love how they're right next to the Capitals, too, because we go from 2 Stanley Cups. Now we're down to 1. Oven Chicken. And Friends. I got a Yogs, because he played there, too. If you have any questions on any of these cards, if you can't read them, there's a glare like right there in front of Nick Kiprios' card. If you can't read them and you're interested, just comment down below. I'll be more than delighted to explain some of my cards to you. I'm going over all of my cards as we enter the St. Louis Blues here. I might make a separate video where it's just like, these are my favorite cards, or these are my most valuable cards. These are the most special cards I have. These are the most unique cards, stuff like that. But as of right now, these are my binders and all of my cards. And if you're into card collecting yourself, let me know. I might want to trade with you guys. Also, I have a big card here. It's our first big card. Jordan Kyrou rookie card, or Young Guns card. That's probably worth something. I haven't checked in on that. Big card. 3 more binders left. We start with the Flames. Johnny Gaudreau is here now. I might bump him back a little bit because he left. Oh, and look who else is here. Matthew Tkachuk. And Jaromir Jagr, because of course. Those 20-some games, they're still iconic. What a legend. I have a couple big Flames, or one big Flames card here. The Mika Kiprasov. This is not a real signature. I mean, it's his real signature, but it's not signed by himself. On to the Ducks, or the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. Don't have a lot of cards for them. Well, I have a lot of cards, but not a lot of separate players, if you know what I mean. Onto the Stars, both from Minnesota North and Dallas. And I love how I have this card, which is literally the moment they won their first and only Stanley Cup. Radulov, who just left for the KHL. Trevor Daley, current Penguins. Oh, there's Yager again. What is Daley? He's I don't know his exact title, but he works for the Penguins in upper management now after he retired. Mark Mathot, who has 9 fingers. Whoops. I don't know why I find that picture of Mike Modano so funny. Him with the turtleneck and the long hair. On to the Hartford Whalers, Carolina Hurricanes. And Gordie Howe is in here because he played for the Whalers, which technically means he played for the Carolina Hurricanes franchise. Got to have the Stalls. And this is one I like how this one kind of turns out, because you have the red and then you have the green. It kind of is cool to see like all the interconnected history between these 2 franchises, but they're not 2 different franchises. They're the same franchise. 2 Penguins here, Cullen Recchi. Jani Kuokkanen, current Devil. Excess Hurricanes and Whalers. And then I got a big Eric Stahl card. Vancouver Canucks. We are now into teams that have never won a Stanley Cup. And the main purpose I kind of reorganized my cards was to essentially not have to do it again. I kind of updated everything into my liking. The only updates I will make, though, is if teams win Stanley Cups. So, like, for instance, if the Canucks win a cup with their current core of Pettersson and Hughes and those guys and Demko, I'll move them to that binder that's over there. where they'll, they have a Stanley Cup. Anyways, the Canucks got the Sedins. The Canucks one's interesting too. I mean, they're the same franchise, but they obviously have the black skate logo. Kind of makes an interesting outlook here because you got the blue and the black, and it kind of looks cool in my opinion. Brendan Gaunce, for former Otter. Jake Virtanen, he's in the news. Uh-oh. Buffalo Sabres, Gilbert Perreault is that player. He goes overlooked because he never won anything, but he's like, I think he's like top 30, maybe top 20 in all-time points. I do have Eichel in here. Sue me. Uwe Krupp, who should be inducted into the Penguins Hall of Fame. Comment down below if you get that reference. And then I have two big Sabres cards. Excess Sabres. I have a Jason Pominville Winter Classic big card, which is cool because they played in the Winter Classic against yours truly. And then I had this Alex Nylander big card. Alex Nylander, of course, currently plays with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. Over here we have the Sharks. Love that card of Burns. Just absolutely raw masculinity from him. He looks like Chewbacca in that. It's amazing. Put Carlson in here. And then here's a cursed card of Joe Thornton where he does not have a beard, and it just looks wrong. On to another Erik Karlsson team, the Ottawa Senators. Daniel Alfredsson, just recently inducted in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Well deserving. Mark Stone. The Hamburglar. What a run that was. That was so fun to watch. Just out of the blue. I remember that like it was yesterday. Excess Senators, onto the Panthers. Huberdeau. I find that is so interesting how he's the all-time leading scorer for the Panthers. Barkov will pass him. I have Barkov as their best forward player type thing because Luongo's their best player of all time in my opinion. But yeah, Huberdeau's weird. It's kind of awkward that I have him front and center with the Panthers now because he's no longer a Panther. Got to have Yogs, and Yogs had some great years with the Panthers. He just turned back the clock there. He I believe he led the team in scoring one of these years. I know he led the Devils in scoring, if I remember correctly. Just insane. The guy should totally make a comeback. Last binder here, we're getting into the expansion teams, recent expansion teams, and the teams that never won a Stanley Cup. So the Predators. Patty Hornquist. Love that man. James Neal. He was good for the Penguins. I don't really love that man. Nick Bonino. Love that man, though. Nick Spaulding. Another former Penguin. I just love pointing out the former Penguins. Eunice Rask. Brother of Tuukka. Didn't really work out for him in the NHL. And yes, I have the Vegas Golden Knights next. I do have Jack Eichel as their all-time best forward. That's a little premature. I understand that. I probably should just switch him out with Stone or Marchessault. But I don't know. I felt like that was the right call for him. Yeah, here's my Golden Knights section. And I do include players that are big, even though I don't have them in a Golden Knights uniform, like Neil Martinez, Pietrangelo. Because, yeah, Leonard even. This is kind of my Braden McNabb card, even though it's not a sold Braden McNabb card. It's just him and Fleury at the expansion draft. I even have an Oscar Dance card. Onto the Thrashers and Jets. Kovalchuk in there. Danny Heatley is an all-star. Big buff. Onto the Phoenix/Arizona Coyotes plus the old Winnipeg Jets. Can't see the corner there, my bad. Yeah, this one's again kind of interesting with the different colors you have. Max Domi, Phil Kessel, Alex Goligoski, Zbigniew McCulloch, former Penguins, Michael Stone, brother of Mark, Paul missed the net. On the Minnesota Wild, I do not have a Kirill Kaprizov card. I think he will be up here, maybe even the greatest of all time by the time his career is over. He's such a dynamic and just awesome player to watch. He's finally the first, like, true superstar the Minnesota Wild have had, because, like, you look through these, like, yeah, they had Brent Burns, but he wasn't there when he, like, truly emerged as a fantastic player. Yeah, they had Parise and Suter. That didn't really pan out for them in the end. Blue Jackets, recent addition here coming up. I did put Gaudreau in here because I know he's going to be there for at least a couple years, but obviously he signed that massive contract. Who knows if we'll get moved or bought out by the end of it. But yeah, I mean, I kept Bjorkstrand here because the next team that we have is the Seattle Kraken, which is the weirdest looking one because I have not collected a pack of hockey cards since the Kraken have came into existence. So it's kind of just assorted cards from some of the players that I had excess cards of, like Alexiak, Schwartz, Larson, McCann, Gord, Tanev, Grubauer, Eberle, Martin Jones, Justin Schultz, Alex Lindbergh. But with that, I'm going to call it here. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out Vegas Hockey Now and the Boulder City Review if you're into local journalism. I live in Nevada, and I turned off my fan and my AC to record this video, so I'm going to end it here quick because it's really hot.